Hey, well, welcome to a really exciting moment. This is the moment where we finally think about one of the most important ideas, not just in mathematics, but in almost every single subject, even beyond mathematics. And that's the notion of a function. Now, this is great, because in fact, a function is something that's always around us. In fact, really, everything in the world is a function. A function is something that has an input, and when you put the input thing in, it causes something to come out, which is the output. Now, we can think about a function in terms of an equation like this, y equals 3x minus 2, where we think about the input as being the x value. So if you give me the x as input, I can plug it in and evaluate that algebraic expression, and that's going to tell me what y equals. Y will be the output. So y is going to be what happens when I put in a particular value for x. Let me show you what I mean. This is really great, by the way. You're going to love this. So just think about it in terms of input and output. So here I've got the function y equals 3x minus 2, and so I'm going to pick various values for the variable x, and I can pick any values I want. I'm going to be a little bit systematic here. So I'm going to pick, first of all, some negative numbers. So I'll try negative 2, then I'll try negative 1, 0, 1, 2. These are actually really good standards to always use if you can, unless there's some peculiar reason why you shouldn't. And now we're going to use them as input into this little machine, this little function machine, which means that I'm going to let the x take on that value, and I'm going to see what we get. So in this case, if I plug in negative 2 for x, I see 3 times negative 2 minus 2, which is going to be what? Well, that's going to be negative 6 minus 2, which equals negative 8. You see how that works? So the output, the y, is negative 8. You put in negative 2, and out came negative 8. What happens when I plug in negative 1 for x? I see 3 times negative 1 minus 2, which equals negative 3 minus 2, which produces an output of negative 5. See how this works? What about when I have x equals 0? When I plug in 0 for x, I see 3 times 0, which is 0, and then I subtract off 2, and I see negative 2. So the output is negative 2. I put the x as the input, and what comes out is the y. That's the output. If I plug in a 1 for x, I see 3 times 1 minus 2, which is 3 minus 2, which is 1. And finally, for my little table here, I'm going to let x equal 2. And so what I see here is 3 times 2, which is 6, minus 2, which is 4. Okay, now I've got a list, and we can now look at a visualization of this function. So you can actually visualize the functions graphically by graphing the points on a coordinate plane. So remember, we always graph x comma y. So we always graph the input comma the output. So negative 2, comma negative 8, way down here. That's the first point. The next point is going to be negative 1, right here, comma negative 5. That's between negative 6 and negative 4. Put a dot there. Now I have 0, comma negative 2, so 0 in the x direction, and go down negative 2. And then I've got 1, comma 1, so 1 over in the x and 1 up in the y. And finally, 2, comma 4. And if we connect these together, we actually see that we produce a straight line. And in fact, that's exactly what the graph of this function is. It's a straight line. Is really nicely and pretty. And so this is a visualization of this function. So you can think about it this way. You can think about making up a table for various values, or you can think about this picture, which shows exactly what the function looks like. Welcome to the world of functions. This is exciting. This is what the world's all about.